Let's breathe together. Deep breath in, feel your belly, feel your chest. Breathe in the beautiful sunset. Exhale slowly. The slower your exhale, the calmer it gets. Let's talk about shame, in particular body shame. Society presents a model of how we're supposed to be, and it conflicts with what our unconscious mind wants us to do, right? So we have to find a balance there. Unconscious mind evolved at a time, those parts of our brain that are in control of primitive urges. Unconscious mind evolved when we were in a space where we were starving, okay? So we would eat leaves for weeks, or we would eat nothing walking across the desert, or we might have a little bit of fish. And every once in a while, there'd be a big animal. We'd hunt the animal, we'd kill the animal. The animal would be food enough to keep us alive, maybe through a whole winter, like a big buffalo. And so the ones that survived those times, those millions and millions of years where we were evolving, the ones who survived had a particularly powerful urge to eat as much of that meat as possible, all right? So in the modern world, we can get meat, most of us, some of us, I shouldn't say them, in modern countries, in America. America has a huge problem with behavioral diseases, with diseases that are based on lifestyle. So there's no shame in having a body that's doing exactly what it evolved to do, which is when presented with meat, to eat as much meat as possible. When presented with an abundance of calories, sugar, for example, a tree full of mangoes or a wilderness full of blueberries, look at what the bears do, right? They eat as many berries as possible. They spend all day eating berries. That's how they get the name bear, right? From eating berries. They'll eat anything and everything they can. They gorge on salmon, as much salmon as possible. And it's the same with us, right? So we will, if left to our own biological pre-programming, our ancestral programming, we are going to eat until we're extremely obese, right? We're going to be huge, and we're going to survive. Unconscious wants us to survive. All those extra calories mean we're going to survive. Then on top of that, we've got another pretty pattern. Pretty, I don't know if pretty is the right word. Another survival pattern that says, don't exercise. Don't go out and walk when you're not hunting or foraging. Don't get up off of the ground and go into the woods in search of exercise alone. If you're going out hunting, fishing, whatever, yeah, okay, we'll let you do that. Unconscious mind is cool with that because you're bringing in calories. But otherwise, there's a resistance there. It's a survival resistance. So shame comes in when you think that your brain shouldn't be that way, that you shouldn't crave crazy amounts of calories, that you shouldn't crave donuts, that you shouldn't crave hamburgers, that you shouldn't crave pork rinds, that you shouldn't crave big chunks of cheese, that you shouldn't, all this, anything with a lot of calories. You're following a program that's been baked into us, it's been evolved into us for millions of years. All the ones who survived ate the most. And yeah, they were probably really lean because they also starved a lot, but they survived. They made it here to where we are. So we have to make a conscious decision to override those two programs if we want to be healthy. Otherwise, we're going to be extremely unhealthy. We're going to eat a lot of excess calories that we don't need. They're going to create reserves on our body, which create inflammation. Fat cells create inflammation. So we're going to have inflammation. We're going to have dysfunctional organ systems to process all that because our organs evolved in ancient times where they weren't processing that. Those organs stayed healthy. Our organs are healthy if we give them a rest, if we have periods of fasting, if we're not engaging in like gorging ourselves all the time. So we need to override that with mindfulness and say, look, I'm going to eat vegetables and I'm going to focus on eating things that are healthy for me, right? So then the other thing is, you got the resistance in you, right, to exercise. So would it be easier for me to lay down? Yeah, I can lay down on the couch. I can watch TV all night. Or I can get up. I could step outside. I can run, do push-ups. I could kick a heavy bag. I could punch a heavy bag. I could go to the pool and go swimming. Hell, I could jump in here with the alligators. That'd be good exercise, right? So there's a lot of ways that you can exercise, but your brain's going to tell you don't do it. Don't be active. Don't burn those calories. So you got to be mindful. You got to set your mind, say, I'm going to do it. And then the magic happens, because when you do that, you're activating a bunch of systems, those other ancient systems that are waiting for you. And those systems are going to turn on. You're going to get a lot more strength. You get a lot more muscle. Muscle's going to burn a lot more calories. It's going to secrete myokines to make you feel better. Your brain's going to evolve to give you less pain. It's going to create endocannabinoids in your brain. Those endocannabinoids are going to reshape your brain over about 6 weeks. And when that happens, you're on the path to health. So shame shouldn't come into this equation. It's not about shame. It's about a program that you came to this earth with. If you're playing it out, you're playing the program the right way, right? In terms of your ancient programming, you're going to survive. You might not have a long, healthy life. You might have a really short life. But as ancient programming only wants you to live long enough to just make babies. I mean, that's basically what it is. So be mindful of those programs. And if you can work with mindfulness of those two programs, then you're on your way to health. And there need be no shame involved. I mean, even if you do not become mindful and override those programs, and you do become extremely obese and you don't exercise, there's still no reason to be ashamed, because you're just doing what you evolved to do, all right? But if you get mindful and you see those things as what they are, just patterns in your brain to survive, then you can be as healthy as you want to be. And I encourage you on your journey. I'm here to help.